let's just do one thing and one thing only: win. And I want winners. Winners never stop working. Kick in the front door and let's get this bad boy rolling.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled their spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history. I can't explain it.
Bam, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Mike Raider. And we're here in the building. We got some things to talk about. Unfortunately, the Raiders couldn't take care of business on Sunday. Some questionable things is going on. We got a lot of things to talk about. We'll get into the game. I'm gonna wait for some more people to pop up. But guys, thank you guys for popping in to the Big Mike Raider show. We got some things to talk about. Shout out to Lonnie Thumbs in the building, man. Shout out to you. You're the first one up. Man, shout out. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the support. We got Anthony in the building. Big Mike Raider. You already know what's up, man. Salvador Salgado in the building. We got Big Heck in the building. We got Crispin in the building. We got Artifacts in the building. Mark Salter. Salute, Big Mike. Salute to you. Thanks for popping in. We got A Spivey. Salute Nation on a depressing Monday. Yeah, we'll get into it. We got some things to talk about. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything today, man. There's not really much to sugarcoat anyway, unless you're talking about a turd, and we're not going to do that here, man. So, Raiders Primos in the building. We got Anthony. Wasted word choice is questionable. Yeah, he has some slip-ups from time to time, man. That's my guy. Shout out to Wasted. We got Oxnard Rob in the building, 805's finest Raiders. Thanks for popping in, man. We got Las Vegas Raiders with Pharaoh, NFL, my guy, my Around the Shield brethren. Thanks for popping in. And thank you to all 37 of you guys so far that's in the building. Hey, you guys already know what to do. Make sure you like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Shout out to Mondo Reyes in the building. Let's see what we got here. He says, what's with a Big Mike Raider Nation? That content. I suck at saying that, man. Big Heck in the building, man. The Raiders be having me depressed as F. Had to shut the game down after Minshew's second pick. I'm glad I didn't see Minshew's third pick of the game. And we all saw it at the end, man. His infamous pick on the sideline. That's gonna be the last pick he throws this season. That's not even throw. That's gonna be his last pick of the season, unless he does something else on camera. But we'll talk about it. Shout out to the rest of you guys that's in the building. Let's get into some of this game, some of the stats, right? Raiders lost, you guys already know, 34-18 to the Broncos, ending that 8-game winning streak we had against the Broncos. This is the first time beating the Las Vegas Raiders in history. Let's get to some of the positives, though, before we get into some of the negatives. Brock Bowers seems to be the guy as advertised. 8 catches, 97 yards. 1 touchdown, long of 57 yards on 12 targets. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him get 10 or more targets, and I want to see that for the rest of the season. That's exactly what I want to see with Brock Bowers. He's first in the league in receptions. He's first in the league in yardage. This guy, amongst all tight ends, this guy is the truth, and we need to start focusing on him, getting him the ball, and focusing on our future. And Jacoby Myers next up. 6 catches, 72 yards, a lot of it in garbage time. Total as a team, 231 yards receiving. Okay, I guess. Robert Spillane, 10 total tackles, 6 solo, 2 tackles for loss, no sacks. He's leading the league in tackles right now which is good. He's tied with somebody else right now. Trayvon Merrick with 8 tackles. Christian Wilkins went down early in the game, midway through the game. 5 total tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. He was putting up a pretty good game up to that point. Charles Snowden, 5 tackles, pretty decent. Max Crosby, 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss. And altogether, this defense, man, they, I don't want to say that they struggled. I think that the whole game has to be surrounded by what happened in that second quarter. We're up 10-3. We're marching down the field, and Gardner Minshew throws a terrible ball for a 100-yard return for a touchdown, tying the game at 10. It took all the air out of the rest of the game. I think that was the big deflator. And we're going to talk about the quarterbacks, right? We saw Aiden O'Connell come in. He didn't do that much better, but we'll talk about it, man. But that's the box score. But I do want to talk about bigger picture as well. The Raiders right now on offense, they are 26th in the league and 27th, in the league in offense. 297 yards per game, not great. Defense right now, middle of the pack. They should be better. The offense is kind of holding them back big time. They're at giving up 333 yards per game, not great. And turnover differential tells the story. Usually the turnover differential tells you whether or not you're a good team. Right now, in context, the Buffalo Bills are a +7 right now. And way at the bottom, the Las Vegas Raiders at -7. So we have a big problem with turnover differential. We're giving up the ball too much, and we're not making enough plays on defense, which equates to losses. We're going to see what's up with the chat. What do you guys think about that one so far? Turnover differential has to be cleaned up, guys. Let's see. Mondo Reyes, now Big Mike, that content sounded legit. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. It just sounds weird to me, man. Raiders, shout out to Raiders Primos. Let's see. Big Heck, he says, did we see any positives on the O-line? And did we see any positives with Tyree Wilson? I got to check out some film, to be honest with you, Heck. I'm going to check out tonight. I'm going to check a little bit of film out. I'm going to check some in the morning. I'm going to see what the O-line did. I'm going to see what Tyree Wilson did. But I'll tell you what, besides Adam Butler jumping on Christian Wilkins after the sack, he had a pretty solid game. He made one big mistake, and that was kind of injuring our own, and I wasn't really down with that. But he had a pretty good game just off the top of my head. But I'm going to look into some more film and stay tuned on that one. Shout out to Yaya in the building. And we got a $2 haymaker from A Spivey. Start AOC the rest of the season. Yeah, that's what it's looking like, man. Shout out to Rafa in the building. Shout out to let's see. Yaya says, I don't want to see Booger anymore in any capacity. Absolutely, man. He doesn't need to be showing up anymore on the field. So here we go, man. Let's talk about it, right? There's it's the elephant in the room. Gardner Minshew's benched. Next up is Aiden O'Connell. But is the question that I want to ask you guys, is it really going to make a difference? I don't know if it's going to make a difference, guys. Aiden O'Connell, every time he comes in, whether it's garbage time or not, he's coming in and he's throwing interceptions. He looks careless with the ball. He's, like I said before, he's a lateral move from what we have with Gardner Minshew. Now, Gardner Minshew does some things. He's very erratic with the ball. He seems a little bit rattled inside the pocket, but Aiden O'Connell doesn't look so much like that when he's in the pocket. But the thing about him is sometimes he throws some bad balls and he's not very mobile. So to me, it seems like it's a lateral move. And we'll look into the stats, right? Let's look into his stats, both of them, because we have a pretty solid sample size. Gardner Minshew, 12 for 17, 137 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Quarterback rating 74, 46.7, a QBR of 46.7. Aiden O'Connell came in, tried to clean things up, 10 for 20, 94 yards and a pick, a QBR of 20.8. So let me ask you guys the question, right? I said that it's not going to really make much of a difference. This offense is going to be struggling. We need a quarterback. That's the bottom line. We need a quarterback, and I think that we're going to be continuing seeing these struggles through one way or the other. They're going to have to find ways to get a little bit more creative on offense, and they can't shoot themselves in the foot. And if they do, they're in this situation, there's really no room for error. But the question is, will there really be much of a difference if we have Aiden O'Connell starting? I don't think so. I think that it's still going to be equally as bad. Not going to lie to you guys, we look like a 5-win team right now. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. We look really bad right now. And it's because of this offense. We need the defense to play a perfect game for us to even be considered to even win games these days. And if they don't, we can't even trust the offense to really hold their end of the bargain. So I'm going to say it right now. Even whoever starts, whether it's Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, I really don't think it makes a difference. Let me know what you guys think about it. I want to hear what you guys said. Like I said, this isn't going to be any sugarcoating today, man. Shout out to Mr. CT. What's good, homie? Shout out from Youngstown, Ohio. Man, shout out to you, man. Way out in Ohio, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate the support, man. Shout out to Coach. He says Booger McFarland. Yeah, he's the next Booger McFarland, man. For sure, for sure. Shout out to Big Heck. Makes no difference. Both have flaws that will hurt us more than help us. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Can't Get Right with the Raiders. Thanks for popping in, man. You know, we repping them Raiders, even though they look absolutely awful right now. But we stay hopeful, man. We stay hopeful. Shout out to Daniel Caps. I don't get how we can be this shitty for so many years. Boy, I miss the Raiders from 70s, 80s, and 90s. Unfortunately, man, I wasn't even around in the 70s and 80s like that. I was born in 87. So I wasn't really seeing the Raiders like that. I can only go back and see highlights. In the 90s, you can start seeing a little bit of the decline. 96, 97, even 98, before Gruden came around, they were having bad seasons as well. And then they, kind of turned around in the early 2000s all the way up to about 2003. And then ever since then, we haven't seen much. So throughout most of my lifetime, it's been like this with the Raiders. But I stay true to the silver and black, and that's all we can do, man. That's all I'm going to do. I ain't going nowhere. So, man, I hope you guys feel the same way. Shout out to Pharaoh. He says, who do you blame more about the quarterback room, Pierce or Telesco? I'm going to say Telesco. And not saying that Pierce doesn't have any fault into this. Now, Pierce did say that he's rolling with Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell is this guy. And we bought into that, right? We bought into, Aiden O'Connell maybe turning things around. He didn't get a fair shot year one. He was working with a skeleton of a playbook, this and that. And then he came out in training camp and he just didn't look what we were expecting. He came out against the Cowboys, or was it, the Cowboys game, or was it the 49ers? I can't remember. We threw that horrible pick at pick six. It was the Cowboys. Threw a horrible pick six, named Gardner Minshew the starter, and we haven't seen him since. And every time, we've seen him, but every time he comes out, it's in garbage time. And even in garbage time, he's not even really taking care of business like that. So Pierce is at fault for kind of fully endorsing Aiden O'Connell. But Telesco really came out in like the first day of free agency and went home run for Gardner Minshew. Didn't even consider anybody else, so it seemed, and let guys pass like Sam Darnold and get guys that are probably better talent-wise than him. Now, we are in a position where we probably couldn't trade up. It takes two to trade, right? Maybe we could have moved up and got a Michael Penix Jr. Doesn't seem like we were going to ever get a Jaden Daniels, right? It would take a lot, and I don't think that they were willing to do that, and Caleb Williams was definitely off the board. Telesco kind of just settled with Gardner Minshew. Now, when they originally got Gardner Minshew, a lot of people were like, calm down, it's all right. He's going to be our second string guy. Him and Aiden O'Connell are going to fight for that second string position. And it turned out, no, he's a guy that we're considering for the starting position. And I was really concerned when they brought in Gardner Minshew, because I was like, what's the point of getting another second string quarterback if Aiden O'Connell is going to be our second string guy and we draft a guy, or we do what we can to draft a guy, right? That didn't end up happening. we have 2 second-string quarterbacks going for the starting spot. And, even in the draft, Telesco chose not to pick a quarterback. He had multiple chances to get a Spencer Rattler, right? He had a bunch of chances to get a guy like that, and he didn't make the move. So I'm going to say both, but I think Telesco gets a little bit more because he's the GM. He's supposed to be making these moves. His focus is personnel, and he didn't go ahead and take care of business. So, Farrell, long story short, man, I'm going with Telesco on this one. Let's see. Daniel Caps, Cam Ward. Okay. I saw him play against Cal. There's some things that I'm a little bit concerned about, but I'm gonna be watching him closely. Him, Shedeur Sanders. I'm gonna be watching Carson Beck, guys like that. Those are guys that I'm really looking closely at. Even Jackson Dart, even though I think he's a second-round guy, we're gonna be looking closely at these quarterbacks in the next coming weeks because those are the guys we need to be looking at. Shout out to Artifacts, and the test shows we need a quarterback. Man, desperately, man, desperately. Big Hex says Telesco. All right, let's see. They need to start scouting for an OC too. Now, that's another thing, right? If we do bring another quarterback, we need to let Getsy go. Getsy was never our favorite guy. He was never our first choice. We ended up missing on bringing in a Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury decided he didn't want to be here, and I don't blame him because maybe he knew the writing was on the wall. Hey, we're not moving up. We're sticking with our guys that we have, Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, and that just wasn't, in his best interest. So he took off and went over to Washington, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Me personally, when you're at an offensive coordinator position, Wasted said it best. This is your job, right? You don't want to go to a spot to where you're set up to fail. And Cliff Kingsbury probably felt like he was set up to fail in this situation. So what did the Raiders do? Because they don't have the quarterback and locate the franchise quarterback, they brought in a guy who is nobody's pick. Nobody was going after Getsy. We had guys there was a bunch of guys out there that we could have got. Zach Robinson. There's a bunch of guys that were like out there and they chose to go elsewhere. That tells you something. A lot of these guys didn't want to come to the Raiders because of our quarterback situation. Cliff Kingsbury signed on a dot. Well, not maybe signed on a dotted line, but he came in the building. He was ready to be part of this Raiders. He probably got some Raiders swag. He was ready to go. And then something happened and he bounced. I think it was because of the quarterback situation. And long story short, right? Once we locate our quarterback, we need to pair that with an OC. Getsy's gone. He needs to be gone. Year one, I don't care what it is. He needs to be gone. And Matt Rule, if we do get a Shedeur Sanders, Matt Rule, I think he's the OC over at Colorado. Pair him with Shedeur. Whoever you bring in, whether it's Ward, pair him with his OC that he's familiar with. We need to accommodate for the franchise quarterback and give it 1 or 2 years and see if it works. And now if it doesn't work, then okay, we tried, right? But we have to pair our new quarterback. Whenever we get our new quarterback, we got to pair him with our OC. It's got to be a quarterback OC relationship. And that's going to help out Antonio Pierce in the long run. So let me know what you think about that one, man. Let me know. Shout out to Jeff Kreiser. He says TJ Watt going to have a field day if Aiden starts. Yeah, I'm kind of afraid of that one, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Shout out to Josh Jones. Start Bradley. Ooh. Man, that's in a garbage time. Both guys are looking horrible type of situation. I don't think Bradley's going to be any better, man. But we'll see. We'll see. Scott Hayes says eating boogers is a fireable offense in any job, right? We're talking about, not let alone quarterback, but if you're in the office and you get caught, at work eating a booger, your boss should tell you, hey, get your stuff together and clock out. Like, seriously, man, eating a booger on national TV is nasty work, man. That is horrible. Let's see. Shout out to Anthony. Can't get right. Finally got unblocked. Yeah, I don't block anybody, man. But yeah, Wasted had the trigger finger hot that day, man. But yeah, he's back. Can't get right is definitely back in the building. Daniel Cap, soon as we get a quarterback, we should turn things around. Yeah, I think so too. And that's why I'm kind of sold on keeping AP around. I think that he's been, I wouldn't say that he's 100%. He's not 100% out of fault with this one. There's some things that he's done that, you know, a young coach, you know, making mistakes like that, it shows, right? He's shown that he's a young coach and that he's made a lot of mistakes. But there's been a lot of injuries. We couldn't locate the quarterback, and I'm sure he wanted to. There's been a lot of things that's been happening along the way, and I'm not ready to dump the guy yet. There's things that he does well, right? You know, he pretty much unlocked. He was, I wouldn't say completely himself unlocked, but he came with the idea of putting Patrick Graham in the booth, right, to get him up there, and he's been great ever since. That was Antonio Pierce. His assertiveness, the coach, the players like him. He's a he's a player's coach. He's also disciplinarian. He does a lot of things good, but there's a lot of things he still, you know, he hits his head a lot. And, you know, I'm not ready after 5 games to just be like, you know, let's move on from him. I think that in due time, once he gets his offense together, once the defense gets 100% healthy, we'll start seeing a lot of better things from Antonio Pierce and the rest of this team. And it takes at the end of the day, man, it takes execution. You have to execute. In this league, you know, the coach can only do so much. These players have to execute at the end of the day. And, you know, let's go back to Gardner Minshew. He throws a horrible interception that completely deflates this game. How is that? How is that AP's fault? Hey, why is it even Getsy's fault if he's rolling out to his right and not setting his feet when he throws the ball? And if he can't set his feet because he does have pressure, how come you're not throwing the ball away and living to see another day? Throw it at somebody's feet and let's move on to the next down and let's get some points on the board, at least 13. So you can't blame too much on what's going on with AP. Like, some of it is his fault, but 100% it isn't. Like, I think that over time we're going to see him do a lot better. I wouldn't say he's learning, because you're not supposed to be learning on a job like this. You're a professional. This is professional NFL football. But I think that he's still kind of finding his ground and trying to figure out where he, like, you know, kind of establishing his philosophy and things like that. And it's only week 5. Let's keep it going. It doesn't help us to, you know, can another guy and keep this coaching carousel going. But that's what I think, man. Let me hear what you guys got to say about that. Let me see. Man, I've been running my mouth too much. Shout out to Salvador Salgado. If Wilkins doesn't come back, you lying about 5 wins, but you ain't lying about 5 wins, but maybe Aiden, we can see something different. We have to be optimistic. What worse can I get? Yeah. I'm gonna stay hopeful for Aiden O'Connell, but from what I've seen, the little time he's been coming out, it doesn't look good. Hopefully he cleans it up. Maybe he looks better in a starting position. I'm gonna reserve some hopefulness because of that. Maybe he comes out, maybe he's better with some rhythm and being out there as a starter. I'm hoping that's the case, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm suspecting we'll see him this Sunday as a starter. Shout out to Ace Spivey. I watched him in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I'm feeling sick at heart, man. Oh, man. That's got to be rough, man. That's got to be rough. Shout out to Yaya. He says, Mike, speaking the thoughts of Raider Nation, man. We're all thinking the same thing, man. We just want to win. And this is definitely not the recipe to win, for sure. They got to figure it out. They got to do something different. Shout out to Farrell. We could even got Flacco over a career backup in Minshew. Yeah, and at least Flacco's won a Super Bowl. He has a resume, right? A lot of people were saying bring in Joe Flacco, and they're like, hell no, let's not bring him. He's like 40 years old, this and that. But every time he comes in, the guy balls out. Like, let's just be honest with you. He's over here in Indianapolis, and he's not the reason why they're losing. But you look at our quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew was the reason why we lost this game. Period. I don't care what anybody says. Now, when you turn over the ball and you're erratic, you give the ball to the defense, setting up your offense with shorter fields. You're putting your defense in a bad position. Now, the defense, hey, it's a team game. Not everybody, everybody's equally there. Everybody gets some piece of the fault in this situation why things aren't working. But the offense is not doing them any favors. So, if we had a quarterback that can just run this offense and not make any mistakes and make some plays down the field when they need to, we will be looking a lot better. I really think so. Shout out to Daniel Caps. Since my birthday is the 13th, all I want is for the Raiders to beat the Steelers, man. Hey, let me be the first to say happy birthday to Daniel Caps, man. And I hope on the 13th they get you that win, man. I think we all want that for you, man. We all want the win for us and our sanity, man. Yeah. Hey, can't get right. Yeah. Yes, it's some people might see that as a sensitive word. But yeah. Shout out to you, can't get right, man. Shout out to Leroy Ali. He says my birthday is the 13th too. Happy birthday to you, man. Happy birthday, man. Scott, hey, Telesco saw this roster was way more than a quarterback away from being good. And maybe that's the case. Maybe, this is a slow play. This is a slow roast, and we got to be a little bit patient. And if that's the case, we got to be patient with AP too. I'm not patient with Getsy at all because the offense looks horrible. Like I told you, 26th in offense. They cost us the game. Well, our quarterback cost us the game. And, play calling is bad. You don't roll your quarterback out who's right-handed to the left. If you're going to do that, flip it and run it to the right so at least he can run and throw the ball and maybe he's a little bit more accurate. But as a right-handed quarterback, you're rolling to the left. You got to turn your body and then set your feet and then throw it. He didn't set his feet. He threw it, and it was a helium ball. He threw it right to the DB for 100 yards. So a part of that is scheme. So, Getsy definitely, he needs to be out of here. But the rest of the guys, let's keep building on what we have, man. Let me see. We got a lot of people getting their comments in, man. Shout out to all you guys coming in. We got 103 in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Shout out to Big Heck. If Mark Davis would have signed AP to a 3-year contract and committed to sign Cliff Kingsbury to a 3-year that he wanted and gave up whatever they had to give up to get Jaden Daniels, man, he would, yeah. But, at the same time, I don't know how much we would have to give up to get Jaden Daniels, for one. And for two, it takes two, like I said. Maybe the Commanders were like, man, you're going to have to give us like 4 or 5 first-round picks if you really want this. It's something crazy, right? Who's to say that, they just were like, no, we're not interested, and we couldn't talk to them. We don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Easy to say we should have did this, we should have traded for that, but it takes two. Now, the whole Josh McDaniels thing with the CJ Stroud, there was rumors out there that it could have happened. So that's different, right? We didn't get the same thing with the Jaden Daniels. We just said that the Raiders were interested, but we never saw that, both teams were kind of talking and trying to make things happen. That's a difference. I don't think that the Raiders had a legit shot to get Jaden Daniels. That's my opinion on that one. Daniel Caps, he goes Pittsburgh, Rams, Kansas City, Cincy, Miami, Denver, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Saints, Chargers. Yep, I'm worried. Yeah, that's a tough schedule for sure, man. But you know what we do? We beat teams that we're not supposed to beat. We might come out on Sunday, take care of the Steelers, go to the Rams. You know how it goes with the Raiders, man. I don't even have to say it. Shout out to my Oos. Lecky in the building. What's up, bro? What's going on, man? Shout out to my Oos. He says, Salvador Salgado says, but you don't think with Aiden putting them in garbage time and having them come back from out big lead is killing his confidence. Excuse me. You're forcing them to throw and defense pinning their ears back on them. That is a good point. That's a good point. And that's part of the reason why I'm leaving a little bit of hope, because every time he's out there, he's in a play superhero position. you're going to be, back in obvious passing situations. These guys are coming at you, and Aiden O'Connell isn't the best quarterback under those kind of situations. So, yeah, it is kind of setting them up for failure. I do agree with you. We got to wait and see. And, if you think that that's going to end, we got the Steelers on Sunday, one of the best pass rushing, one of the best defenses in the league. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me see. Shout out to Can't Get Right. Getsy vouched for by DA. For real now, DA wants out. Ain't that a bitch, right? Like, Devonte Adams got the guy he wanted, right? Because this is the guy he fully endorsed. That's what we were told. And now he wants out. This dude was never going to be happy in the first place. Let's lead to the next thing, right? We're talking about Devonte Adams. Shout out to Can't Get Right. He brings up Devonte Adams. The latest on Devonte Adams and this whole trade thing. Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, he says teams are interested in trading for Devonte Adams have told me it's unrealistic for the Raiders to expect a second rounder, while we also having the acquiring team take on his full 2024 salary. There doesn't seem to be a team desperate enough to give Vegas everything they're asking for. And you know what I say about that? If that's the case, if that's the truth, hold on to Devonte Adams, whether he likes it or not. Because if we get anything less than a second round, it is a fail on our end. Let's stay strong. Let's hold pat on this whole situation. And if teams feel like that they're a wide receiver star away from, making a splash move and making a run in the playoffs, you're going to give up some of that draft capital. So let's hold our ground and not settle for less on this one. Also, for Devonte Adams, they're saying that, this is a move that's going to be about 48 hours away, couple days away, that this is going to be happening soon. So stay tuned. Maybe on Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, we'll start talking about Devonte Adams being somewhere else. And hopefully we get what we're supposed to get. Hopefully we get enough for it. It would be devastating if we got something less than a second. I'm not going to lie to you, man. But let me know what you think about it, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to 132. I'm going to scroll down. I want to see what everybody has to say. Let me see. Shout out to Dre for show. 1, 2, 3. I heard that Minshew is not used to being the guy. Being the guy means everything is on you. When he was a backup, he didn't have the pressure or stress of being the guy that had Minshew playing. Yeah, I mean, in the shows, him being he plays like he's scared. He plays, and there's a lot of, he took a couple of sacks in the backfield to where I felt like it was his fault. He's scrambling around, and there was a couple of times where he scrambled right into, defenders. When if he just stayed right in the pocket, just stayed there and moved around, stay in that little phone booth, and manipulate the pocket a little bit, he wouldn't be taking the sacks that he's taking. So that's one thing. Errant passes, doing a lot of things that aren't conducive to winning. We're seeing that from Minshew right now. And it's not good. The offensive line, once again, they also get it. They're also at fault with this. I think Colton Miller looks absolutely horrible. That's just the way I see it so far. He doesn't look great. He has given up 5, maybe even 6 sacks this season. He doesn't look great this season. So that's a problem too. Everybody gets a little bit of blame for this, but I think that in some cases that Gardner Minshew, he just doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. He's running around and he's running into the defenders half the damn time. So that's just how I see it, man. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Shout out to James Furpo in the building. He says, Dre for show better without all the pressure of being the number one guy. Yeah, no doubt, man. Shout out to Can't Get Right. He says, thanks for the GOAT Raider content, Big Mike Raider. Hey, thanks for the support, man. And thanks to 138 that's in the building. I appreciate all you guys' support. Make sure you guys, you know what to do, man. Like the thumb, hit the sub, share with your folks. Let's do it, man. We got ECG in the building, East Coast Gridiron. What's up with you, man? We gotta do a film breakdown, man. I gotta get some film together. I need you in the building. We need to make this happen, man. yeah, we definitely got to do that, man. Let me see. Shout out to Raider Ryan in the building. Salute. Robert Hicks in the building, man. Thank you for popping in. Shout out to Nobody Home. Joe Milton, Mike White. Let's get Trey Lance. Trey Lance, huh? Well, last time we saw him, he threw like 5 interceptions in the preseason game. I don't know how I feel about that, man. But I don't know. If we get him for the cheap, maybe, right? Shout out to John Leon. Can we include Colton Miller in the Adams trade? You know what? To be honest with you, I'm okay with that. Now, Colton Miller is like almost, I think he's 29, maybe even 30 years old. He's kind of on his back end of his deal. I think he has another year on his deal. And he's showing some decline. I don't want to be a day late, $1 short to where we're getting rid of him and we get absolutely nothing. He's showing decline. Let's move on with the youth movement. Let's put Munford on one side, Glaze on the other, and let's roll with the youngsters this time around. I'm okay with that, And we don't really know also what's going on with Michael Mayer. We haven't seen Michael Mayer in a good couple of weeks. Maybe we package things up and then, upgrade, whatever that value is for Devonte Adams, whether it's a second, whatever it may be. Maybe we can package some things up and get a first-round pick. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. But I'm with you on that one, Colton Miller, for sure, man. Shout out to Billy Davis. So what up, Raider Nation? Big Mike, AOC need to start against the Steelers. Yeah, we'll see. I think he is going to start, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think it ain't really going to make much of a difference, bro. I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Hopefully I'm wrong. I want to eat crow on this one, but, man, I'm not too confident Aiden O'Connell to get the job done, man. Raider Ryan, stop holding the ball so damn long, Minshew. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what? We don't have to worry about that. He can hold on to a football on the sideline all he wants, man. Shout out to Yaya. He says all-star chat today, man. Yeah, definitely, man. As always, we always got the best. We got the best chat in all of sports, man. We got the best fan base of all of sports. Raider Nation, we always show up and show out. And you guys always show up and show out on this channel, man. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys, man. You guys really show out for me, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to Robert Hicks. Says, Big Mike, salute, man. Hey, salute back, man. Let's see. East Coast Gridiron, Trey Lance is a bad quarterback. Yeah, I'm leaning to that too, man, to be honest with you. To say it straight up. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Trey Lance is a bad quarterback. He hasn't played enough snaps, meaningful snaps as a professional football player. Even in college, he didn't play enough. And I don't know how he thrusted all the way up to the top of a draft when he played little to no football, but that's a whole different story. Shout out to Dre for show 123. What about Hendon Hooker? I think that the Lions aren't going to get rid of him, man. I think that they like what they have in him. He's a good backup for now. Jared Goff is doing his thing. Jared Goff might be there for a while, but if whatever off chance that he gets hurt, Hendon Hooker can come in and continue what's going on in Detroit as far as that offense goes. I don't think they're getting rid of Hendon Hooker, but I'd be all for it, man. I'd be all for it. I don't know what we would have to get. Shout out to Farrell. He says, if we trade our left tackle, it's tank season. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. And, who's to say that this whole season has been a whole gentleman's tank job? Shout out to Wasted Talent. He called it a gentleman's tank. Maybe it is a gentleman's tank, man. Maybe, the way they set up this whole offense, they didn't bother locating a starting caliber running back. We got Zamir White, who doesn't look great. We got right behind him is Alexander Madison. He's not a starting caliber running back. We've seen it before, even though he's played okay. Our leading rusher yesterday was Amir Abdullah, who's getting ready to retire. He's on the back end of his career. We didn't locate the quarterback. We got an offensive coordinator who I think they brought in to kind of set up to fail. Like, maybe it was a gentleman's tank from the beginning. This offense is the equivalent of one of the worst offenses in the league. If you look at what's going on, for the exception of Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, we don't have the quarterbacks to even get it to them consistently. So to me, it seems like the writing was on the wall from the beginning. Now, Farrell, you already know, I was the first person to have hope in what's going on with this team. You look over what's going on with Minnesota with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was not considered a starter in this league, but they have a bevy of weapons on offense and a good defense. So you look at all that and you're like, okay, I've seen this before. We've seen this with the Browns last year. We've seen it with a lot of teams over the years, that you don't necessarily need that quarterback to make things happen. You can still win in this league and be successful. Now the Vikings are doing that. They're doing exactly what I thought the Raiders would be doing. I had the Raiders winning 11 games. Now I think they're going to lose 11 games. I'm not going to lie to you, because they're not doing what I had expectations for them to do defensively. Being careful with the ball and maintaining. I thought the running game would be a lot better, and we're not getting any of that. So maybe it was a gentleman's tank. I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think about it, because I don't know. Writing was on the wall from the beginning, and I was in denial. Shout out to Hector David Hernandez, Big Mike Raider. You already know what's up, man. Thanks for the support, bro. Let me see. We got Dre for show 1, 2, 3. Dorian Thompson Robinson trade. Man, I was okay with that. I was okay with that when they were saying that he was on the market. But I don't know what that would take. Give him a 6th, give him a 5th. I don't know. I'm okay with that. See what he brings to the table. Shout out to Martin. Where's my guy Martin at? Cue up, Martin. A Raider brethren from across the pond. You already know, man. That's my guy Martin, my snooker partner right there, man. Cue up. Let me see. Nobody home says AOC is terrible. Remains to be seen, man. I'm not confident, but remains to be seen. Robert Hicks, where would you trade Adams? So I said this last week, and it turns out that, we saw some cryptic things that were going on with Devonte Adams via X or IG, wherever it was. He posted a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, signifying that maybe it's the Ravens. I thought that the Ravens were a dark horse to kind of be interested, just because that there may be one solid wide receiver away, maybe a star wide receiver away from being one of the best teams in the AFC to sit them over the top to take them to the Super Bowl. Turns out that was just smoke, right? We haven't heard too much on that end as far as the Ravens being interested. But I thought maybe the Ravens will be a good pick. But if we really look at the teams that are really the front runners, we got the Saints. I don't think they're going to the playoffs even with Devonte Adams. We got the Jets. I don't think they're going to the playoffs with Devonte Adams. The Bills is a team to watch out for. If not the Bills, then the Pittsburgh Steelers. One of those two teams, to me, is kind of neck and neck. And I will tell you right now, I will eat this remote. This whole remote if he goes to the Chiefs. They're also saying the Chiefs, but there's no way in hell that we're going to deal with the Chiefs. But if I had to choose, just off the top of my head, my gut feeling, I think he's going to either the Bills or the Steelers, man. I think he's going to either one of those two teams. DeLeon is money. No need to tank. We're only winning 5 to 6 games anyway. What AP and Getsy. It's starting to look like it. Maybe there is no need to tank, man. Maybe you're right. Salvador Salgado, if you were the GM, what's your ideal trade? Would you hold the wide receiver until the trade deadline to see if any team that's a playoff contender gets desperate? Yep, that's exactly what I would do. My ideal trade, considering that maybe there's some trouble in paradise with him, with our team and Michael Mayer. Maybe we package Divine Diablo. We put a huge package together and send that off to a team that's desperate for a run in the playoffs, and they feel like they're a couple pieces away, and we get us a first-round pick for those guys. That's my ideal trade, a good package deal for a first and maybe a late-round pick, and we give up those guys. Now, we have to, engineer a whole new contract, maybe eat some of that contract from Devonte Adams because a lot of money is going to be on the line with that. But once that gets engineered and modified or whatever you need to do, go ahead and send that whole package to another team and get that first-round pick that we need, man. Multiple first-round picks will be excellent right now. I'm not going to lie to you, especially if you're in a situation where we need an additional first-round pick to move up in the draft for some off reason. for some reason that we need to move up to locate the quarterback we want, we move up and add that first round pick later down the line. But that's just me, man. That's just me. Shout out to Lecky. Minshew can hold on to his boogers on the sideline. No doubt, man. Let me see. Hey, Hector, man. Hopefully you heard my shout out, man. Hopefully, the comments are rolling, man. So I got to it a little bit late, man. But shout out to you. And there is my guy, Martin, right there. Cue up, bro. Cue up. Shout out to Martin in the building from across the pond, man. Dodgers, Raiders, everything. Trade DA and AOC for Rust and a second-round pick. Not saying that it's on the table, but at this point, I'm open to it. I'm okay with seeing what's up with Russ. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, I know he's dealing with an injury, and I know a lot of people aren't going to think that's the most, it's not the most popular thing in the world, but it's better than what the hell we got right now. And he's cheap. It'll be a 1 year kind of see what's up. And if he does something, then we can keep him for another year, another 1 year prove it deal, and draft a quarterback and kind of see what they can do. Maybe compete for a spot, or maybe our rookie kind of sits behind. I think that's a solid pick, man. I know it's not going to be the most popular thing just because it's Russell Wilson. I don't know, for whatever reason you guys hate Russell Wilson, but he had 28 touchdowns and 6 picks last year. Like, this is way better than what the hell we have now, man. Let's just be honest, man. Shout out to Dre for show. Trade Devonte to the Lions. They got enough pieces over there, man. I don't think they need him. The NFC is up for grabs. I think they're the favorites to even come out of there, man. Shout out to Money Chuck. Mike, I'm a first-time viewer. Would you trade Adams to the Chiefs for a second? Hell no. The Chiefs will have to give up like 3 firsts for us to do that, man. I'm not giving the Chiefs shit. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what they're asking for. And you know what? I'm not going to make it easy for them to even contact me, man. If I see a Kansas City area code on my phone, I'm hanging up. I'm sorry. I'm not answering the phone. They're gonna have to contact me through fax. They're gonna have to contact me through a typewriter. They're gonna have to contact me through a carrier pigeon. There's no way in hell that I'm negotiating with the Chiefs ever. And when they finally do get in contact with me, they're gonna have to give me 2 first-round picks. There's no way. Maybe a first and a second. There's no way in hell that I'm negotiating with the Chiefs. We're not helping them out by any means. I will never, ever deal with the Chiefs, ever, unless they're giving up something significant. Shout out to Martin. People know we're getting desperate. Trading terms will get tougher now. Hey, hold your ground. Hold your ground. If you feel like you're a couple pieces away from making the playoffs or making a run, you'll give up what you want if that's what you really want. I'm okay with it, man. At the end of the day, that's just how I see it, man. Can't get right. Look at this instead of the real problems. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let me scroll down, man. Shout out to Bulldog Raider in the building. Let me see. Shout out to Lecky. He says, if they trade Devonte to the Lions, add Penei Sewell in that trade. Fuck it. He can replace Cole Miller. Now, that's a hell of a trade. I don't think they'll give up Penei, man. I don't think they'll give up big Sewell, man, 58. I don't think so, bro. But, hey, if they do, I'm okay with that. That'll solidify this offensive line for sure, man. And we got a cornerstone right there on that left side for sure, man. Let me see. Shout out to Kenny. No way they're trading Adams to the Chiefs. We wouldn't make any team in our division stronger. Exactly. And especially the Chiefs. The Chiefs can go somewhere with that. I don't care what they need. if they needed air to continue, living, man, I'd be like, there's an oxygen one of them oxygen bars down the way, just use them last breaths to go down the way and make that happen. We're not doing nothing for the Chiefs, man. That's how I feel about it. Shout out to 159 that's in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. All right. So PFF grades. I want to talk about some PFF grades. I gotta look out for our guys. We had a bad game against the Broncos, but there's some guys that stuck out and did their job according to PFF, right? Highest grade Raiders in week 5 versus the Broncos, according to PFF. Brock Bowers, number 1 on the list, our rookie, 82.7 PFF grade overall. looking great. He's like, I think overall grade this season, he's somewhere close to the 80s. So he's looking great. Robert Spillane, 81.5, leading the league in tackles. He's tied with somebody else right now. Colton Miller, hey, they said he had a good game. I still don't think that he's looking as good as he's done in years past. He had an 80.8 PFF grade. Charles Snowden coming in relief, looking great, 72.2 PFF grade, and Jacoby Myers with a 67.5. Not great, but he's in our top 5. And a 67.5 PFF grade in our top 5 just tells you how bad this game was, man, for sure. But shout out to those guys, man, especially Brock Bowers and Spillane. They look great so far. Shout out to Lecky, Penei Sewell, and Fuaga. I can only dream. Oops, man, that would be nasty, bro. That's like the big man bloodline right there, bro. That would be dope. Hey, I'd be cool with it, man. I'd be cool with it. Shout out to Can't Get Right. We won't always agree 100%, except when it comes to the Raiders just winning. Believe it, baby. Raider Nation for life. Yeah, man, we don't always have to all agree. You know, that's not what it's about, man. We all have different ways to make this work, right? Some people want AP gone. Some people want to keep AP. Some people want Gardner Minshew to continue being the starter. Some people want AOC to take the reins. Either way, we just want to see this team win, man. For sure, man. That's all it comes down to. But shout out to you, man. Canetown Raider, who is this big back MF on my screen? You might be looking in the mirror, you big ass motherfucker. That's you, bro. That's you, man. And where the hell you been, man? We need you back on the screen, Canetown, man. We need you back, man. Shout out to you, bro. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the support, bro. Let me see. Can't Get Right. He says, we all have our opinions, but like our ancestors, we think our way is the best. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. But yeah, let me see. Can't Get Right, the shield before all. Definitely, man. So those are our last words from the Sunday disaster. We saw that there were some guys that really showed up. Our quarterbacks look horrible. Overall, as a team right now, we're bottom of the league in turnover differential, which is horrible right now. That we definitely have to clean that up. We're at the bottom of the league with that. 26th in the league in offense, middle of the pack in defense, which is definitely a big disappointment. So there's some things we need to clean up. There's plenty of things we need to clean up. We also went over the Devonte Adams trade update. Next couple of days, we might be seeing some news regarding that, man. So that's so far what we're seeing on this Monday. Wish we can be celebrating a victory, but it's a reaction Monday. What do you guys think, man? Let me get your questions. Let me hear anything else you got to say. I'm here for another about 5 minutes, and I'm going to get rolling. Shout out to 160 in the building. Thanks for popping in. Hopefully this isn't your last time, man. Make sure you like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Shout out to Heat Check. Kay Adams said Tay won't be on her show tomorrow. Of course not, right? He's in hiding now. He said everything he needed to say, did everything he needed to do. Yeah, he's not going to show up until he gets traded. You're not going to get anything from him for sure, unless he's doing more cryptic posts on IG. Let me see. Shout out to Carlos in Fuego. Aiden time. Give him a chance. Big Mike draft quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver. Goodbye, Getsy. Possibly AP. Raider Nation for life. I'm gonna also add this, man. Somehow we gotta get another quarterback. Get another running back. We don't have any running backs, and it's showing terribly right now. This running game is atrocious. We got to be at the bottom of the league. You know, that we did rush for over 100 yards, but we don't have that bell cow running back to really get the job done on their own. We got to be very creative with the running game, and that's a problem. So we definitely need another running back in that situation, and I would say maybe in the second or third round. By the way, I don't know if you guys see him, man. Ashton Jeanty, I don't know how to say his last name, from Boise State, that running back, over 1,000 yards, 16 touchdowns in 5 games. He's the Heisman favorite right now. I don't know which round he's coming out of, man, but man, that'll be a good look. I think he's a junior though, so if he comes out, man, that's somebody to look at for a running back as well. Shout out to Bulldog Raider. Thank you, Big Mike. Great show. Thanks for the support, man. I appreciate you. East Coast Gridiron. Carter Bradley needs to get a start. He was my favorite quarterback at the Senior Bowl. I talked to him multiple times and said, and I had a chance to interview him. He's a great dude and a great leader. You know, that we haven't seen much from Carter Bradley. I'll give you that. He's on the practice squad, and I like to believe that that's for a reason. But if things don't go well, Aiden O'Connell, maybe Carter Bradley is the guy that you have to bring up in that situation. But we're going to give Aiden O'Connell a chance first. And then if things go sour, then we're in a full tank mode situation, then maybe Carter Bradley gets his shot to start. But we'll see, man. It's a long way to go with that one. East Coast Gridiron, Matt Breida is a free agent, just saying. I'm all right with that, too. He'd be a definite step up from what we have. But, guys, that is the show, man. Thank you for the support, as always. 148. I hate to leave you guys hanging, but don't want to keep you guys for too long. Just wanted a reaction Monday, talk about PFF grades, talk about the Raiders as a whole, where we stand, a little bit about AP, a little bit about Devonte Adams and his trade situation. But we'll get some new news soon. In the next 24 to 48 hours, some developing news with that will be surfacing very soon. And stay tuned. And you can find us over here on the Big Mike Raider channel, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to everybody who popped in and showed out, as you guys always do. And let's get the last words in. We got Coach. He says Carter threw a bad pick in the preseason. He's got an arm, but he's on the practice squad for a reason. That's exactly how I feel about it. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Shout out to James Furpo. Later, Raiders. Raider Nation for life. Raiders. Man, shout out to you, man. Shout out to James Furpo, always bringing the heat with the Raiders, man. Thanks for the support. And thank you guys once again. I will see you guys on the next one. Shout out to Daniel Kim. Catch the rewind if this is just you popping in right now. Salute to you, man. But I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
We're going with the guys that put in the time and commitment to do what we want to do over the next 6 months. And that's just do one thing and one thing only, win. And I want winners. Winners never stop working. Kick in the front door and let's get this bad boy rolling.
I got the contract. This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking device is just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scramble they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.